Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. With the holiday season just around the corner, our minds are filled with cozy images. Crackling fireplaces, twinkling lights, and of course, that little bundle of green leaves and white berries hanging in a doorway, mistletoe. We all know the tradition. If you find yourself under the mistletoe with someone, you're supposed to share a kiss. It's a sweet, romantic custom that's become a staple of Christmas parties and holiday movies. But have you ever stopped to wonder where this tradition actually comes from? What if I told you that behind this seemingly innocent holiday ritual lies a story that is far more dramatic and, frankly, a bit disturbing than you could ever imagine? Today, we're going to pull back the festive curtain and explore the dark and surprising origins of kissing under the mistletoe. It involves ancient gods, betrayal, tears, and a plant with a rather unflattering name. Trust me, after hearing this, you'll never look at that little sprig of green the same way again. So grab your hot cocoa, get comfortable, and let's dive into the twisted tale of mistletoe. To understand our story, we first need to travel back in time, way back to the world of Norse mythology. In this realm lived a god named Baldur. He wasn't just any god. He was the god of light, joy, purity, and beauty. Everyone loved Baldur. He was the son of Odin, the All-Father, and Frigg, the Queen of the Gods. He was so bright and cheerful that light was said to shine from him. His mother Frigg loved him so dearly that she was terrified of anything ever harming him. So she embarked on an epic quest. She traveled across the 9 realms, making every single thing, animals, plants, stones, elements like fire and water, even diseases, swear an oath that they would never, ever harm her beloved son, Baldur. And they all agreed. How could they not? Everyone adored Baldur. This made him effectively invincible. The other gods found this hilarious. They made a game out of it. They would throw all sorts of dangerous objects at Baldur, spears, axes, rocks, and everything would just bounce right off him, leaving him completely unharmed. It was a great party trick, and a source of much amusement in Asgard. But not everyone was amused. There was one god who watched these games not with joy, but with seething jealousy. And that god was Loki, the god of mischief, a trickster, a chaos maker. Loki couldn't stand seeing Baldur so universally loved and protected. He was determined to find a weakness, a loophole in Frigg's seemingly perfect plan. So he disguised himself as an old woman and went to visit Frigg. He cleverly praised her for making Baldur invincible, and, in a seemingly casual conversation, asked if she was absolutely certain she had gotten an oath from everything. Frigg, proud of her work and suspecting nothing, admitted there was one tiny thing she had overlooked. It was the mistletoe. She told the disguised Loki that she hadn't bothered asking the mistletoe because it seemed too young, too small, and too insignificant to ever pose a threat to anyone, let alone a god. This was the information Loki was waiting for. The seemingly harmless mistletoe was the key. He immediately left, found a sprig of mistletoe and, using his dark magic, fashioned it into a sharp, deadly spear, or in some versions, an arrow. The weapon was ready. All he needed was someone to use it. Now among the gods was Hoder, Baldur's own twin brother. Hoder had a tragic disadvantage. He was blind. During the god's favorite game of throwing things at Baldur, Hoder would stand off to the side, unable to participate. He couldn't see to aim, and he felt left out of the fun and the honor of celebrating his brother's invincibility. Loki saw his opportunity. He approached the blind god Hoder and asked, "Why don't you join the game? Why don't you throw something at your brother to honor him?" Hoder sadly explained that he couldn't see to aim and had nothing to throw anyway. The ever-helpful Loki said, "Don't worry, I'll help you. Take this spear. I will guide your hand so you can join in the celebration." Hoder, trusting Loki, took the weapon. He had no idea it was the mistletoe spear. Loki guided Hoder's arm, helping him take aim directly at Baldur's heart. Hoder threw the spear. The little sprig of mistletoe, the one thing that had never sworn an oath, flew true. It pierced Baldur, and the god of light fell to the ground, dead. The laughter in Asgard instantly turned to screams of horror and grief. The brightest light in the cosmos was extinguished by an act of pure deception, using the most overlooked plant in all the realms. The grief of Baldur's mother, Frigg, was immense. Her tears, it is said, fell onto the mistletoe spear and transformed into the plant's white, pearlescent berries. In some versions of the myth, the gods were so powerful that Frigga's tears of pure love actually brought Baldur back to life. Overjoyed and relieved, Frigg's sorrow turned to gratitude. She reversed her opinion of the mistletoe. Instead of seeing it as a symbol of her son's death, she declared it a symbol of love and peace. She decreed that from that day forward, anyone who stood beneath the mistletoe would receive a kiss, a promise that the plant would never again be used as a weapon and would instead be a sign of affection. It was a way of turning the ultimate symbol of tragedy into a symbol of love's triumph over death. It's a beautiful, redemptive ending to a very dark story, isn't it? A mother's love turning a weapon of murder into an emblem of romance. But hold on, because the story isn't quite over and it gets even weirder. We need to talk about the name. The word mistletoe itself has a rather gross origin. Let's break down the etymology. The toe part is straightforward enough. In Old English, it comes from the word tan, meaning twig or stick. Simple enough. But the mistle part? Well, that comes from the Old English word mixil or mistle, which meant dung. Yes, dung. So the literal translation of mistletoe is dung on a twig. How incredibly romantic, right? But why on earth would it be called that? It comes down to how the plant spreads. Mistletoe is a hemiparasitic plant, meaning it grows on other trees, sinking its roots into the host branch to steal water and nutrients. Birds, like the mistle thrush, love to eat mistletoe berries. After they eat them, they fly to another tree, perch on a branch, and, well, they poop. The sticky seeds pass through their digestive system unharmed and are deposited onto a new branch in a lovely little pile of bird droppings. The sticky dung helps the seed adhere to the bark long enough for it to germinate and start a new mistletoe plant. So, the ancient Anglo-Saxons, being very literal people, named it for exactly what they saw: dung on a twig. It is pretty amazing that something with such an unappealing name and origin story, rooted in both mythology and biology, could become one of our most cherished symbols of holiday romance. So how did we get from divine murder and bird droppings to the tradition we know today? The Norse story is the most dramatic, but the plant was considered special by many ancient cultures. The Druids, for example, believed mistletoe was a sacred, all-healing plant, especially when it grew on an oak tree, which was very rare. They would harvest it with a golden sickle in a special ceremony. They believed it could cure infertility, act as an antidote to poison, and protect against evil spirits. So, the idea of mistletoe as a powerful, magical plant has been around for a very long time. As Christianity spread through Europe, many of these pagan traditions were absorbed and repurposed. The idea of mistletoe as a symbol of fertility and life likely morphed into a symbol of love and romance. The kissing tradition, as we know it, really took off in 18th century England among the servant class. It was a bit of fun during the holidays. The original custom had a rule. A man was allowed to kiss any woman standing under the mistletoe, and for each kiss, he had to pluck one of the white berries. Once all the berries were gone, the kissing privileges were over. This custom gradually spread to the middle and upper classes, and eventually across the world. So there you have it. The next time you're at a holiday party and you spot that sprig of mistletoe hanging in a doorway, you'll know its full crazy story. You'll remember the beloved god Baldur, the trickster Loki, and the heartbroken mother Frigg, whose tears gave us the berries. You'll think of a weapon of betrayal that was transformed into a symbol of love. And of course, you might just chuckle to yourself, remembering that its name literally means dung on a twig. It's a tradition that's wrapped in layers of myth, tragedy, and some slightly gross biology, all leading to a simple, sweet kiss. It just goes to show that even our most light-hearted customs can have some truly deep and surprisingly dark roots. What a journey, right? From divine tragedy to a party game. It really makes you wonder what other secrets our holiday traditions are hiding. What do you think? Does knowing the story change how you see mistletoe? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories behind our traditions. Happy holidays, and see you in the next video.